blessings of the Most High rest upon each and every one of you. This is Pastor Ferlander Lewis, and we welcome you once again to the House of Purpose Church. We're thankful to our Creator who continues to reveal himself to us. I'm discovering more and more that the gospel really is a seamless soliloquy of strategy. Preaching ought not ever be done in isolation. And the older I get in this journey, in this walk, I'm discovering more and more how the gospel message ought to be very seamless. With that in mind, as God has blessed us in this past series, or this current series actually, what is the point? I'm going to ask for your participation, if not your help. I'm going to ask everyone, if you don't mind, send me a 5-minute candid clip of your answers to this question. What do you feel is the most threatening presence to the agenda of life? What do you think is most threatening to, what are the most threatening issues to that which God has assigned his greatest gift of life? And then which of those threats need to be dealt with immediately or firstly? Now I know that's quite a bit to try to fit into a 5-minute or less window. In fact, I'm kind of chuckling at the conversation that one of my daughters and I had, and she says, "Really? You expect us to give the answers to this question and to life in a matter of a few minutes?" I know it's quite a challenge, but do the best you can. I do intend on sharing this in a collage and in a way that perhaps we can address everyone's, or as many as possible, your perspective. So once again, what is the real threat? What is the most immediate threat to God's assignment, his gifting of life? Please send your clips to us at houseofpurpose06@gmail.com. That's it. houseofpurpose06@gmail.com, or message us on Facebook. We look forward to receiving your insight. Make sure when you're recording, whether it's on your phone or on your tablet, make sure it is in landscape mode. Let's turn it sideways, guys. Make sure it is clear and the audio is clear. I do want to feature it as part of our upcoming series and for series to come. Bless you. We look forward to sharing with you real soon. Now, enjoy and remember to connect, understand how this connects. Enjoy this message once again. What is the point?
Brothers, make some noise. Hey. Brothers, this is what you're gonna do. 1, 2, 3. It belongs to God. You got it? 1, 2. It belongs to God. Oh. It belongs to God. It belongs to God. Say. It belongs to God. Hey. 1, 2. It belongs to God. 1, 2. It belongs to God. I want to see some hand clapping right now. Holy Ghost hand clapping. Hey. Come on. If you came to praise him, scream right there. A little bit louder, please. Scream. We gonna put it together. Sopranos and tenors. 1, 2, 3. Ladies, sing.
To God be the glory for all that he is and all that he continues to do. We invite your attention to the book of Ecclesiastes, the book of the preacher, the Septuagint, the Greek interpretation of the Hebrew text calls it the Hoheleth, or the leader of the congregation, or the preacher. We invite you to go with us to the 12th chapter of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 12, verse number 13, and you will find these words. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Shall we pray? Gracious Lord, our God, our Father, you who are everything to us, the Most High, we call upon you. We look to you. We desire you. We're designed by you. But, oh God, we recognize and we acknowledge that we are nothing apart from you. I pray now that you would have your way. Bring forth your glory in ways that's going to transform men and women's lives, boys and girls even, but your people everywhere, that they may come to know you as you are, and that all may come to fulfill purpose as assigned by you. We honor you and we ask it all in the forever unending name of your Son. Be glorified, Most High. Amen. Let us hear, even as does the scripture suggest here, let us hear the conclusion, not only of the whole matter, but the conclusion of this series of messages that we've been in here lately. This message, entitled, What's the Point? What's the point? When we consider the very nature of our Creator, Father, Yahweh himself, the Most High, the very nature of our God emits and exudes a number of virtuous realities, of which I would like to highlight today the virtue of hope. Everything about the Creator, everything about the Father exudes hope. Everything that he has done, the gifting that he has levied and made available to all of our lives, shows that he is eternally committed to hope. In fact, that's what the greatest gift that he has given, the gift of life, that's what it intrinsically reflects. Life always reflects hope. Don't ever forget, brothers and sisters, where the Creator is, where the Most High is, there ought to be an uninterrupted, undeniable reality of hope. Where you see hopelessness, hopelessness suggests perhaps at least a couple of things. Perhaps that the Creator is not in the plan. Or number two, it very well suggests, may suggest that the enemy has become somewhat effective in convincing the recipients of the greatest gift that the Creator has given, the recipients of life. The enemy may have convinced you that there is no hope, that hope has run its course and has reached its expiration date. But I'm here to remind you, brothers and my sisters, that as long as our Creator, the Father himself, is alive, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing in reality that can even suggest, that even dares to suggest that it can bring death, that it can bring finality, that it can bring expiration to the alone existent. As long as he is alive, there is reason for hope. Someone's going to be blessed here today and prayerfully encouraged to move out of your cistern of catastrophe, knowing that hopelessness, get it now, takes on many forms. But no matter what form it takes on, know that when our Creator, Father Yahweh himself, when he shows up on the scene, he brings with him all of the intrinsic virtue of his nature. Hopelessness, once again, takes on many forms. It takes on the stench of skepticism. Hopelessness takes on the form of a problematic and prison, a problematic prison of pessimism. Hopelessness takes on many forms: depression, downheartedness, broken spirit. I'm here to let you know that when you see catastrophe, and where catastrophe seems to be the norm rather than the exception to the rule, that's hopelessness. One of the reasons why the enemy works overtime in so many communities is to make sure that the communities are overridden with the pain of hopelessness. Homes, families, relationships, churches even, riddled and saturated by the rain of hopelessness. But I'm here to let you know today that when the Creator shows up on the scene, and he is on the scene, where the Creator is, there is hope. And there's absolutely nothing that's going on that will come, that is able to negate the very gifting of his presence. The writer of this book, most believed to be Solomon, helps us to get here, even if it is somewhat awkward. He helps us to get to the place where we understand the point of the presence of the Creator. Like Solomon, you may be asking yourself, what's the point? Solomon, those of you who have read the book of Ecclesiastes, you'll know that it is riddled with excerpts and examples exemplifying his own pessimism and his own undeniable degree of hopelessness, until you get to chapter number 12, verse number 13 and 14, but 13 in particular, where he says, hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. I'm here to let you know today that even if, like Solomon, you must go on this grand excursion that takes you through many painful predicaments and many turbulent and troublesome times, understand that the journey is not over until the Lord, the Creator himself, says it's over. And like one Solomon, if you will hear his voice, you too will come to the place where you negate the attack of the enemy, who would all but lead you to this place of hopelessness, to the tune where you would ask, what's the point? What's the point in doing what we're doing? What's the point in going through all of this? What really is the point? After you've done everything you can do, it would appear as though nothing actually is successful. What's really the point? I'm reminded of one of my favorite singers and artists, Lauryn Hill, has a line on one of my favorite songs in Miseducation, the album, the project, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. She says, nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. And if we were to be honest with ourselves, many of us, if not most of us, find ourselves at times, perhaps even right now, where you are overwhelmed by the undeniable pressure of hopelessness, where it appears though no matter what you do, it's never enough. No matter how much you work, nothing is ever accomplished. No matter how far you go, it feels as though you've made little or no progress. So much so till you ask yourself the question, what really is the point? What is the point? Well, the point, brothers and sisters, if you will listen to the words of and the voice of the writer of this text, who is clearly inspired by the Infinite One himself, the point, as we shared with you in the past, is seen in the conduit of change. Have I a witness here? But not only is it seen and found in the conduit of change, when he says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. But it is also, my brothers and sisters, seen in the completion of his course, the completion of his course. When we complete the assignment, when we complete what he has put before us, we discover what really is the point. Notice, if you will, in this 12th chapter of the book of Ecclesiastes, verse number 13 shares with us not only let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, but he says, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty. This is the whole duty of man. It is there we discover, brothers and sisters, how we can come into contact with embracing what really is the point. I want to speak directly to the hearts of someone who perhaps may have been overwhelmed once again, overridden by the agenda of hopelessness. This word encourages you to complete the assignment. Complete the assignment. According to this text, it shares with us, not only should we fear God, or more so, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, but notice, if you will, if you are to overcome hopelessness and you're going to get to the point that is contained in the completion of the assigned course, note it comes, brothers and sisters, when you recognize the Creator. When you recognize the Creator, you've got to recognize Him. You must recognize Him to the tune where you give acknowledgement in all things of who He really is. The word says to fear God, fear the Creator. And it's coming up real soon here, as I admit much teaching and revelation needs to be shared concerning what many call the divine names argument or presence. But it is here where Solomon says to fear Him, fear the Creator, fear the Most High. In showing a reverence to Him, you show that you recognize who He is. How many of you understand that He is the Creator? He is the beginning. He is the Father. He is the Most High. And it is only as you do that, brothers and sisters, you begin to be delivered from the seemingly unending agenda, pathway, road even of hopelessness. Fear Him. How many of you really recognize Him? How many of you really recognize who He is? Recognize, brothers and sisters, that He is in control of all things. I've come to recognize that it is incumbent upon me as an individual to walk in fellowship with the Creator, to walk with Him in ways where I come into intimate knowledge of Him more and more, experience by experience, even beyond experience, line upon line, precept upon precept. I come to know Him. And as you come to know Him, I'm here to let you know that's where He desires us to be. And as you get to that place, that really is the point. The point is to get to a place where you reverence Him, where you recognize Him, where the reality of Him is eternally interwoven into your consciousness, whereby everything you say and you do is in lieu of the very presence of the Creator, His mindset, His will, His program, His protocols, what He desires. Are you listening to me? So I encourage you, brothers and sisters, wherever you are, get to know Him. Yes, reverence Him. And with it, the word, it says fear God. To show a reverential awe, A-W-E, show that not so much that you are afraid of Him, but you ought to very much respect Him. Respect Him for who He is. But even more than just that, it really emphasizes getting to know Him, knowing the Creator, knowing the Most High. I invite you to come into intimate knowledge of Him. That's what's going to propel you out of the pool and the pitfall of hopelessness. Do you know Him? Not just know about Him. Come on, but do you really know Him? I know we oftentimes sing, and it is deeply etched in the experience of the Black church. Someone called out and asked, what do you know about Jesus? What do you know about the Son of God? What do you know about Him? And the refrain, the callback, the comeback is, He's all right. Well, yeah, He's all right, but He's so much more than that. Come on, somebody. How many of you know He is so much more than that? You must get to know him. And if that's the best you can come up with, it is indication that you need to get to know him even the more. Spend more time with him in prayer, in meditation, in his word. And you got to spend time in divine intimacy with the Most High so that you can get to know him, so much so until when other voices and when other distractions come, you will recognize that as being not the voice of the Creator. Come on, somebody. When you know his voice, knowing his voice also means that you will recognize that which is not his voice, that which is incongruent with his itinerary, that which does not align itself with the Almighty nor his assignment. But that only comes as you get to know him. So I invite you, as you ask the question, what is the point? The point is get to know him. That's how we're going to complete the assignment, complete this which he has called us to, the completion of this calling. Get to know him. Not only should we recognize the Creator, but get it now, we ought to, and I want you to hear specifically what I'm saying, revel his commandments. According to this text, the next clue is for us to revel not in, but revel his commandments. Once again, revel, R-E-V-E-L, revel his commandments. And now some of you may be thinking, okay, well, we ought to be reveling in his commandments. We ought to be made joyous, happy in his commandments. And that's fine and that's good until you decide that his commandments is not good enough. It's not broad enough. It's not comfortable enough. And then what? And it has become the obvious fallout of religiosity that many are all right with the Creator. They're all right with the Most High as long as he's not telling them anything that they're uncomfortable with, as long as he is not inviting them to places that they don't want to go, as long as he is not requiring of them anything that is new or anything that violates their understanding. That's why, brothers and sisters, it is more powerful, it is more comprehensive for you to revel his commandments, meaning that you take joy, you are happy about his commandments. You are happy with every one of his commandments. It is most unfortunate that the English language is so weak in that it does not give appropriate indication or revelation concerning his word in particular here, the word commandment. A better understanding of it here would be judgments. So not only should we fear God, but keep his judgments, the conclusions that he comes up with, the understandings that he has, why he does what he does, why he allows what he allows, why he puts into places, certain places, things that will perform his purpose, even when we don't understand it, even when it makes no sense to us. See, so you want to revel his judgments, revel his commandments, because his commandments, not so much as if you are just a soldier and you have no consciousness, you have no brain, you have no mind of your own, and that you just follow him as a puppet. That's where, once again, it becomes a little convoluted when the translation is made over into the English language. But understand, brothers and sisters, the Creator, the Most High himself, wants you to do what you do because you share the mind of the Master and you understand the value of his positionings, the value of his judgments, so much so until you value what he values. Come on, somebody. You hold in high esteem what he holds in high esteem, and you are against what he is against. Are you listening to me here today? There's so much confusion in the land right now because so many are left to the rapid changing vicissitudes, these genres that pop up as proof of popularity. And depending on what's popular for the time will determine what is truth and what is appropriate. But I'm here to let you know that if that's the way you look at life, if that's the way you approach life, you will end up even as Solomon was when he wrote the majority of this book. Notice, if you will, that he's Solomon, he's king, he's got everything imaginable, everything in life that he desired. He says earlier that he would withhold nothing from his eyes, nothing from his ears, nothing was withheld from him. He had more money. He had more money than he could ever spend. Anything that he wanted, he had it, with the exception of fulfillment and final peace. I brought you there so that I could bring you here, brothers and sisters. Solomon would tell you, and I will share with you, while living here, well, there's absolutely nothing intrinsically wrong with substance there, with things and the like, but understand that there is absolutely nothing that can substitute the Spirit of our God. Nothing that is a suitable substitute and will bring you final peace in place of the Spirit of our Creator, the Most High himself. You can have money, you can have riches, you can have houses, you can have lands, you can have servants, you can have positionings, you can have pomp and circumstance and still be miserable. I'm here to let you know that it is a tragic tale when one spends their entire life doing, as Solomon says, I believe in chapter number 5, chasing the wind, only to discover that it's not only most elusive, but it is never fulfilling. Are you listening to me? So I share with you here today, you don't want to make this mistake, but the point is not to look for fulfillment, not to look for satisfaction, not to look for completion apart from the Creator. So you revel in his commandments, you revel in his judgments, you revel in what he says, you revel in his positions, you revel in his mindset. I'm happy about what he says. Solomon says there's no new thing under the sun. And he shows that the pains of pessimism has overwhelmed him, forgetting that while there may not be any new thing under the sun, but there is one that is beyond the sun. There is one that is before the sun. There is one that is greater than the sun. I'm here to let you know, brothers and sisters, that no matter how painful things may appear to be right now, don't ever lose sight of the fact that the Most High himself, yes, the Most High himself, he's still alive, and he's greater than your problems. He's greater than your predicaments. He's greater than whatever is presented before your lives. That's why we must revel in his judgments. We must be happy in him, happy in his sayings, happy in his positions, happy, joyous in the stances that he takes. Come on, somebody. I don't know about you, but I am made happy in what he speaks. Because even if I don't like it, if it might seem uncomfortable, if he's speaking, that means that we're on speaking terms, and And that makes me happy knowing that he loves me enough to continue to converse with me, to continue to reveal himself to me. And I'm here to encourage you today, brothers and sisters. Even if it appears as though it's uncomfortable, revel in his commandments. Understand that that voice in you that comes up as contradiction to everything that is popular in society. You ought to be praising our God because he loves you enough not to allow you to just go on towards your demise and your destruction unopposed. See, you can't get away from his presence. That's what Solomon discovered. You really cannot get away from the presence of the Spirit of the Lord that is in you. Oh, you can deny it. You can try to ignore it, but you cannot get away from him because he's in you. I'm here to let you know, brothers and sisters, there's good even in the worst of us. When the Creator breathed into the nostrils of man and man became a living soul, he placed his spirit in man. He places his spirit in all mankind. Come on, somebody. That lets you know, brothers and sisters, that when you find inner conflict, don't always dismiss that as being insignificant, but it is the voice, the presence of the Creator reminding you that something is not in alignment with who he is not in alignment with his positions, with what he is saying. And the only way you can make some sense out of what the enemy is very adept at doing, and that is causing confusion and causing you to bring on your own catastrophe. The only way you get beyond that is to know the Creator, revel his commandments, revel his judgments. Lord, I'm happy about everything you've said. I'm happy about everything that you present. I'm joyous about, matter of fact, when you speak, that brings me joy. Every position that you take, every thing you want, that's what I want. And when we as a people, when we as churches, when we as communities, when we as a nation return to wanting what he wants and making that priority, I'm here to let you know that's when we will discover the point, and that's when we will find the remedy to our ruin, and not before then. Until then, we will continue to, as the Bible says, grope along as blind men in the darkness, thinking that you know the way, thinking that you can make it on your own. If anything, human history has proven that humanity doesn't know what it's doing. Apart from God, we can do nothing. Apart from the Creator himself, apart from Father, apart from Yahweh, we can do nothing. So revel his commandments. Are you listening to me? Are you happy about what the Lord is saying? Are you happy about it? Come on, talk to me, somebody. Are you really joyous when the Lord says, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together, even as some do? I know it's hard to do. I know sometimes it may not be the popular thing, but when his commandment is that you love one another even as he has loved you. Come on, somebody. When he says, pray for those who despitefully misuse you. When he says, blessed, happy are the poor in spirit. Come on, you've got to revel his commandments. Revel the positions, the judgments that he gives, he reveals. Last but not least, you may ask, what's the point? What is the point? Not only should we revel his commandment, but we should rest in the conclusion. The word says, yes, fear God. Thank you, Solomon. Fear God and keep his commandments. But he sums it all up by saying, for this is the whole duty of man. This is the entire duty of man. Duty is usually
italicized there, meaning it was not part of the oldest text. But this is the whole of man. This is the entirety of man, for you to keep his commandments and fear the Creator. I'm here to let you know, brothers and sisters, you will find your final peace. You will find your conclusion. You will find peace, rather, when you rest in the conclusion. The conclusion is to know that recognizing the Creator is enough. Reveling his commandment, that's enough. Talk to me, somebody. It is the agenda of humanism that continue to try to assign more and more and more. You got to do more. You got to do more. Do this, do that to impress God. I'm here to let you know. Come on, somebody. What can you do that's really going to impress him? Talk to me. I mean, what really can you do that's really going to impress the Creator? I mean, what can you do that is greater than speaking those things that were not and they became? What can you do that is greater, that's going to impress him? Him who created all things. He who created all that there is. What can you do? What song do you have that's just that impressive to the Creator, who not only has heard all songs, but he has given the song? I mean, what can you do that's going to impress him? So we must get out of this mindset and be delivered from the agenda of humanism and even religiosity that has us thinking that by way of works, by energies and efforts, we can somehow impress the Creator enough to bring us to the place of final peace. Absolutely not. The word teaches us it is by grace we are saved through faith. It is not of ourselves, but it is the gift of our God, the Most High. Lest any man should boast. I'm here to let you know as I bring this to conclusion. Rest in the conclusion. The Creator says to fear him. That's enough. The Creator says to revel his commandments. That's enough. The Creator says to rest in him. That's enough. I invite you to rest in him in all things. Whatever your catastrophe, whatever your challenges are, whatever your confrontations, rest in him. Rest in what he says. Rest in what he says to do. Pandemic, rest in him. New strains, rest in him. Do I take the vaccine? Do I reject the vaccine? Rest in him. What about my children? Rest in him. Come on, somebody. And when you rest in the conclusion, I'm here to let you know he will give you blessed rest. And that is the point.
I truly hope and pray that you all were blessed by that word, because I know I was. I encourage you to apply the word to your hearts, where real lasting change will happen. Now, we encourage and appreciate your support of this great, great ministry. Please do so by going to givelify.com or to our House of Purpose website, which is houseofpurpose.net. You will be blessed even more for doing so. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we invite you to join us in this great move of God. Until we meet again, may the blessings of the only true and living God rest upon you and yours. See you later, guys.
Yes, whether there's rain or there's sunshine.